Alright, Ronan MMA, welcome back to the channel. UFC Fight Night Kara-France versus Amir Albazi takes place tomorrow evening or afternoon, depending where you're at in the world. I am going to preview this fight night and give my picks as well. And while this may not be the best card, if we learned anything after UFC Fight Night Dern versus Hill, that sometimes these cards that appear to be, shit on paper can be sleepers. They turn out to be really good. And I have a feeling there's a few fun fighters on this card that I think are going to put on exciting performances. So we're going to get right into it with the first fight of the night is Philippe Lins versus Max GRISHIN. Okay, I'm going to go with Max GRISHIN here. Both these guys are in their late 30s. Okay, and the problem that I have with picking Philippe Lins, who I believe is actually the younger of the two, is he's been knocked out quite a few times, and Max GRISHIN actually has quite a few KOs on his very long career. So I'm going to pick Max GRISHIN to get the job done by KO. They have both been extremely inactive, so this one is a little iffy, okay? And yeah, I mean, it's almost a pick'em fight. GRISHIN's favored a little bit, -130 according to the UFC's website, so I'm not picking anybody, crazy here, but it's a little iffy just because they're both older, both been inactive. But as I said, Philippe Lin's been KO'd quite a few times, and Max GRISHIN loves to get the job done by KO. So Max GRISHIN by KO for the first fight of the night. The second fight is Damon BLACKSHEAR, okay? Sounds like a barber's name or something, versus LACERDA. I'm going to be going with LACERDA here, okay? Damon BLACKSHEAR has yet to get a win in the UFC. He's got a majority decision draw against Yusuf Zalal and a loss to Farid Basrat. Now, to be fair, both of those guys are pretty good, so it's not like he's fighting bums and getting fucked up, but he has yet to get a win, so that is something that I'm taking into account here. LACERDA also, he had a very tough first opponent in the UFC as well. He fought Cody Stamann, who's been kind of like a gatekeeper to the top 10-15 area for a while there. He's a little inconsistent, but he's definitely a tough fight for your debut in the UFC. But before that loss, he had not lost since 2014, so we were almost a decade in between his losses. Okay, he's got an 83% finishing rate also, and all of his finishes are by submission. Damon BLACKSHEAR actually loves to also get submissions, and I believe over 18 professional fights he only has one knockout. So I don't know that LACERDA needs to be concerned about the power from Damon BLACKSHEAR, and I feel as though because Damon BLACKSHEAR also likes to get the job done by submission, he might be willing and confident in his abilities to go to the ground with LACERDA, and I could see that causing problems for him. LACERDA is a slight favorite at -150, so again, picking a favorite, nothing crazy here, but I think that he will get the job done by submission because Damon BLACKSHEAR likes to grapple as well. Next fight, we are going Elise Reed versus Jinh FREY. Okay, Jinh FREY, a little old, horrible record, 11-8, right? So I'm going to be going with Elise Reed here. She's younger, she's better everywhere. Jinh FREY, while she is pretty, I don't think she's a very good fighter, and I think I might have just said this, but 39 years old. So I mean, I know the women can fight a little longer because the skill level is slightly lower, and their reaction time and things like that is not on par with the men to begin with. So the aging is a little strange in the women's divisions, but I think that Elise Reed will get this job done. Loma Lookboonmee. Okay, this is a problem with Jinh FREY. Loma Lookboonmee strangled her. Okay, so wait, no, she strangled Elise Reed, didn't she? Either way, dude, I think that Elise Reed's going to get the job done. Loma Lookboonmee should not be submitting you, okay? She's a Muay Thai fighter. I know that she's made improvements and whatnot, but women's fights are hard to pick, man. But I'm going to be going with Elise Reed. Who knows? Split decision. I don't know what to tell you. Okay, next fight, Daniel Santos versus Johnny Munoz. Okay, I'm going to be going with Daniel Santos here. He's actually quite a big favorite, -215. Johnny Munoz likes to get it done by submission most of the time, but I'm fairly confident in Daniel Santos' abilities on the ground to not get submitted. He's never been finished in his career, whether by knockout or submission, so that's a good thing there. Whereas Daniel Santos, he likes to get the job done by KO, right? But he's good everywhere. He likes to get the KO, but he's okay everywhere. Okay, we've seen Munoz get KO'd by Tony Gravely, if I'm not mistaken, just a year ago. So you know, to be fair, he's gotten a win since then, but we know that he can be knocked out, and Daniel Santos is, that's what he likes to do. And considering that Johnny Munoz likes to get it done by submission, I could potentially see another knee KO or TKO from Daniel Santos here off of a takedown if he times the takedown of Johnny Munoz, because I would imagine he is going to want to get it to the ground. Okay, so, you know, I'm going to go with Daniel Santos. Again, he's sizable favorite, not a crazy pick, but either way, we move on up to Andrei Arlovsky versus Dante Mays. Dantale Mays. Okay, dude. Sure. This is the first underdog pick of the night for me. I'm going to be picking Arlovsky. Dude, I can't believe this man is still around. I know that at heavyweight, aging, much like the women's divisions, is a little bit different. You can age a little more gracefully at the higher weight classes because, again, your reaction time doesn't necessarily need to be as fast. They're all a little bit slower. And power, it's an old trope, seems to be the last thing that goes. Now, I know he lost his last fight, but he had won 4 in a row before that, okay? Now, 2 of those were split decisions, and if I'm remembering correctly, there might have been a couple that were a little iffy where it could have, or maybe should have, gone the other way, but regardless, K4 in a row at fucking 44 years of age is impressive, okay? And if you look at who he's lost to officially in the last few years, it's Rosenstrike, Tom Aspinall, and De Lima, who are all in the upper ranks, like the upper echelon of the heavyweight division, okay? So he's not losing to fucking bums, all right? Yeah, you know. Dante, on the other hand, Dantale Mays seems to be losing to guys that I could actually see Andrei Arlovsky beating. So, Augusto Sakai, you know, very inconsistent. He looks good on some occasions, sometimes not so good. He did look good in his last performance, but still. I have a feeling, though, we're going to see Andrei Arlovsky stick and move, stay away from whatever power Dantale Mays may have, and he's going to point fight his way to a decision. That's what I think is going to happen. I think we, you know, hopefully not a split decision. Hopefully there's no controversy, but I could see Andrei Arlovsky just kind of sticking at range, poking him with jabs and shit, boxing, doing stuff like this. And Dantale Mays, big guy, might gas out trying to chase around Andrei Arlovsky, who we know, especially, dude, considering he's 44 years old, the guy's agile as fuck. So that's going to be my first underdog pick of the night. He is not a massive underdog, but is still an underdog. Okay, next fight, we're moving up to John Castanda versus Muin Gafurov. This is a short notice opponent, okay, for John Castanda, who is quite good. I'm actually going to be picking the short notice underdog here in Muin Gafurov, pardon me. He has actually fought some fucking legit competition, okay? He went to a decision with John Lineker in one championship, if I'm not mistaken, who most likely fucking juiced to the gills, okay, in one championship. I don't know that they have as strict of testing as they got in the UFC, so I mean, he's fighting dudes. Yeah, maybe that means he was on juice also, but dude, that means he's got a hell of a fucking chin, okay, because John Lineker, if he's beating you by decision, that means you ate some shots and didn't get KO'd, which is amazing because he seems to KO a fuck ton, okay? 17 of his 18 fights, or 18 wins, I guess, are by or by finish, okay? And he mixes it up. He's got 10 KOs, 7 subs, okay? He is he's lost by decision every time he has lost, obviously, because he's never been finished. So that might indicate that maybe cardio is a little bit of an issue, or he has problems doing enough damage to actually win rounds. If he can't get the job done by finish, or maybe he could potentially be a bit of a front runner, but I still think he's going to be able to get the job done. John Castanda was training for somebody else, short notice opponent, dude's legit, okay? So I think he's going to be able to get the job done by TKO over John Castanda. Maybe this is a crazy pick. Again, not a huge underdog, but he is still an underdog. We're going to move up now to the next fight, which apparently they changed the order of, so no problem, dude. Let me just scroll in my notes. Jamie Mullarkey versus now Muhammadogene Naimov, or Naimov, I don't know how the fuck you say that, but it doesn't matter, dude. He was supposed to be fighting Guram Kutteladze. I was going to pick Guram in that fight, but so this is now the second short notice opponent on this card. I don't think he's going to be able to get the job done. Jamie Mullarkey is a massive fucking favorite here, so this is not a crazy pick to make. I think Jamie Mullarkey is going to win. I think that Jamie Mullarkey is a very difficult guy to deal with, especially on short notice. He's very awkward, right? And we saw him completely stop a hype train in that, I can't remember his first name, but Prado. Dude came from Argentina, or yeah, he was Argentinian or whatever. Fought in bullshit fucking leagues, like where it looked like their canvas was garbage bags, okay? But regardless, we've seen that he's tricky to deal with, okay? He's very awkward, and this is a short notice opponent, and this guy, unlike the last short notice opponent we were talking about, Muin Gafurov, pardon me, does not have the same level of competition under his belt that he has fought, so I don't think that he's going to be able to do it. So I'm going to go with Jamie Mullarkey here by fairly dominant decision, okay? I think he's going to probably win every round. Next fight, now we'll go back up in my notes because they switched the order. Abubakar Nurmagomedov versus Elizeu dos Santos. I'm actually going to go with Abubakar Nurmagomedov here. He's a slight favorite, barely. It's like a pick'em fight, -115 to -105. Tapology has Elizeu, or whatever, however the fuck you say his name, is a different last name, so it was a little strange. I was like, is this really the same guy? I think the age, as well as the inactivity, and just not being able to beat a certain level of opponents for Elizeu dos Santos, I think that Abubakar Nurmagomedov is pretty good. He is an amazing, but to be fair, he's actually... Yeah, he's been submitted a couple times, so I mean, there is the potential for that, but... Last time he was in 2019, and I think he's been triangled or something like that, right? So he's not as he must not apply the same level of pressure as some of the other Dagestani dudes or Russian dudes when they're on top in order for a guy to cinch up a triangle on him. But Zaleski or Dos Santos, what the fuck, dude? He doesn't have that many subs on his record, okay? And the last time he actually cinched one up was 2014. So just because he's Brazilian don't mean he's good at submissions, okay? He's got a lot of KOs. But again, against not so good competition, I'm going to go with Jesus, fuck, dude. Abubakar Nurmagomedov to get the job done by unanimous decision. He will probably take him down and get control time while landing a little bit of damage and being able to stay away from any submission that Elizeu dos Santos has to offer, because it doesn't seem that that's really a staple in his game. Okay, next fight is Karine Silva versus Ketlin Souza. This might actually be a fun women's fight, if I'm being honest. I'm gonna pick Karine Silva. She's a favorite, so not a crazy pick, obviously, but 2-1 favorite. The odds makers are typically like pretty on point, if we're being honest here. Some of them are a little crazy, but either way, kind of like Natalia Silva, this chick consistently gets finishes, okay? Even in her UFC debut, she got a round 1 Darce choke, right? So in her contender series, she got a guillotine choke in early round 2. We see arm bars, heel hooks, also KOs, okay? How many by KO? Sorry, I'm just reading my notes here. 8 wins by KO, 7 wins by submission. This chick switch mixes it up like crazy, and that is really like Natalia Silva. So I have a feeling we're going to see some good action from these ladies. All right, whereas Ketlin Souza, though, she does have some finishes on her record, okay? Mostly by KO. She's got 1 sub, 4 decision victories. Her last finish came in 2021 against a girl who was 0-1, though, right? This is the difference. You got 2 girls who look like they get a lot of finishes. 1 girl, though, against much better competition. And, you know, she's fought chicks like 2-2, 4-4, you know, and since she's stepped up in competition, we have not been able to see her get a finish in her last 3, whereas Karine Silva, as I just said, in her contender series fight and her UFC debut, was able to get finishes early on as well, right? Darce choke, guillotine, beautiful shit. So I'm going to go with Karine Silva here. I don't know how she'll get the job done because she loves to mix it up, but I do smell a finish coming from that lady, okay? Next fight, Tim Elliott versus Victor Altamirano. I'm going to pick the underdog here in Victor Altamirano. I know he's a little fucking crazy. He might fight like he's got an extra chromosome hanging around somewhere, but dude hits hard as fuck. Dude's got a chin on him. Tim Elliott is older. He has not been finished a whole lot, right? Like, he is a very tricky guy to deal with, much like Jamie Mullarkey, very awkward style, things like this. Even Demetrius Johnson struggled with him a little bit. I think that was probably due to the height and the length of a Tim Elliott versus a 5'3" Demetrius Johnson, but You know, he's getting up there in age, especially for the younger weight classes. So as, you know, you age, your reaction time and all this shit goes out the window. And at that weight class especially, you need to be fucking on point. These guys move like they're in 1.5 speed. Victor Altamirano, 2-1 in the UFC too far, right? And that loss was a split decision. He beat Vinicius Salvador, who I believe he was actually an underdog against, because Vinicius Salvador put on a phenomenal performance in his Contender Series fight. Had quite a bit of hype on him. And then he also finished Daniel Lacerda after toughing it out for a couple minutes, right? This is what I'm talking about. He's got a chin. He got hurt in that fight, came back and fucking starched homeboy. So he's looked really good in his last few performances, and I just don't... A 36-year-old at flyweight is iffy for me to pick. I mean, and also, dude, not to mention, like, it doesn't really have anything to do with the fight per se, but the fact that he's dealing with shit outside of the octagon, wife cheating on him with his fucking training partner, his heart is probably broken. I don't know. That's going to be hard to... I know Tim Elliott's a professional. He's been around forever. He's had a ton of fights. It'll be tricky to fucking get that shit out of your brain when you step in there and not fight with anger or some kind of emotion. I don't know, man. He's older, hasn't fought in a while. You know, Tim Elliott's actually been subbed a few times. I don't see Victor Altamirano locking up a sub, but still, I think that we're going to see Victor Altamirano get the job done. I could potentially see a TKO. However, as I said, Tim Elliott, I don't think he's ever been knocked out in his career. He's tough as nails. He's awkward to deal with. But he is getting older, so we'll see. But I'm going to go with the underdog here, Victor Altamirano. Next fight, Jim Miller versus Jesse Butler. Jared Gordon pulled out. Why is that? Hold on. Let me do a quick look-up thing because I don't know what's going on here now. Last time I checked the website, they do a really poor job at updating the UFC's website. I'm so sorry, guys. This is completely unprofessional. They take a long time to update it. I should stop using their website for checking the stuff. Okay, this guy, Jesse Butler, 31 years old, 72-inch reach. Okay, he's 5'10", 12-4 on a 5-fight win streak right now. Luis Luna in Fury decision, Maceo Fulin Fury finish. He has never been submitted. He has lost by KO though. And for some reason, Jim Miller, probably just the short notice, is a fucking minus 240, dude. And I don't know that I feel comfortable picking an almost 40-year-old with a record of 35-17. Not that that's a record to be ashamed of, but the fact that he has taken quite a bit of damage, right? Alexander Hernandez hurt him quite a bit. He did have his fucking moments in that fight, though, man. Dude, why would they fucking do this last minute? Now I'm having issues picking. I don't know who I'm going to pick with this one. I apologize, guys. This is so fucking unprofessional, but so is the UFC's website page. Okay, let's take a look at some of his opponents. Luis Luna, 17-9. Dimitri Ivy, 9-5. Ray Trujillo, 24-28. These are the guys he's getting finishes over, okay? All the other guys with actual winning records, he is not. I am going to go with Jim Miller to get the job done. The reason being, okay, this guy, Jesse Butler's game plan appears to be take guys down and submit them. He only has one KO win. He's only lost by KO once. He's got 8 submission wins, and he's never been submitted. But we're looking at his opponents right now, and they are not the level of a Jim Miller. I don't care how fucking old they are. 8-5, 8-5, 24-28, 6-6, 14-14, 7-12. These are the kind of guys he's getting submissions over. I think he's going to think that he can take Jim Miller down and sub him. I think Jim Miller is going to lock some shit up, dude. Whether he gets a leg lock or he fucking transitions, takes the back, gets a choke, some shit. I think Jim Miller, damn near 40 years old, is going to sub this motherfucker who took the fight on short notice. That's really unfortunate, man. I just banged my fucking ring on the table. I was actually looking forward to see Jared Gordon get back in there because that headbutt or clash of heads looked a little intentional to me, but whatever, dude. Was a really unfortunate moment. I thought he was looking good in that fight while Bobby Green landed more significant strikes on him. In that first round, he was tagging Bobby Green with some good clean shots. And I was looking forward to seeing him seeing him perform, man. And I felt that the UFC was kind of doing him a favor by giving him Jim Miller, maybe to help him get a W and get back in the picture, because he's got robbed by Paddy Pimblett, by the judges, right, against Paddy Pimblett, and then had the Bobby Green situation going on. So I guess I'm going to pick Jim Miller to get the job done by submission, since this guy likes to take dudes down with horrible fucking records and submit them, and I don't think he's going to be able to do this here. All right, next fight, Alex Caceres versus Daniel Pineda. All right, both these guys have a lot of losses on their record. Okay, Pineda's a little bit older, but also has a better win-to-loss ratio. Dude's got 19 submissions, okay, and 9 KOs too. So obviously, game plan A is to get a submission. I have a feeling, though, okay, we saw Alex Caceres get submitted by Kron Gracie, and after seeing a guy like Charles Jourdain deal with a guy like Kron Gracie, that it's a little, that's something you might want to be ashamed of, okay? You should have not been subbed by fucking Kron Gracie. This guy's got 0 stand-up. Alex Caceres has some pretty good stand-up. We saw him get a head kick KO, I believe, his last time out. Daniel Pineda, though, is not Kron Gracie in the sense that he can strike as well. So whereas Kron Gracie can't, right? Like, this guy's got a pretty good mix. He's got 19 submissions and 9 KOs, dude. I think he's, if he doesn't get the job done by sub or by finish, I think he loses. Like, I don't think he's ever gotten a decision victory. I could be incorrect about that, but I don't know, man. Picking a vegan at 2-1, dude, with a guy who's got, and I know that his record is a little, it doesn't tell the whole story, because he's fought some good competition, right? 20-13 though. He's a little bit younger than Pineda, but he's got some miles on him also. Caceres, this is a fucking weird stat, okay? He's got 13 losses, right? More than half of those were by submission. He has lost by submission 7 times. And considering he got subbed by Kron Gracie, I think he's going to have problems here with Daniel Pineda. I'm going to be picking another underdog, Daniel Pineda, submission specialist who can also strike, who's also got KOs. So it's not going to be just walking forward like a fucking scarecrow, the way that Kron Gracie was, trying to pull guard and shit like that. So I'm going to pick the underdog, Daniel Pineda, here to get the job done by submission. I think he's going to be able to close the distance because he's got some striking abilities. I think he's going to be able to get Caceres down. And if this is at the apex, I think it'll even favor him even more, Daniel Pineda, because of the smaller octagon, obviously. So I think Daniel Pineda is going to get the job done by submission, number 20 on his record, okay? Here we are, main event of the evening, Kara-France. You know what? I'm actually kind of glad that I had to look that shit up, because this video probably would have been 15 minutes long, because this fight card does not have a whole lot of substance in terms of name value and shit like this. But dude, the Caceres Pineda fight will be fun. Jim Miller versus Butler will be fun. I think Tim Elliott versus Altamirano will be fun. I think that Karine Silva and Ketlin Souza will be fun. I think that Jamie Mullarkey is going to be fun. I think John Castaneda's fight's going to be fun. There's honestly a lot of fun sleeper fights on here, so it is what it is, man. Either way, main fucking event, Kara-France versus Amir Albazi, 100% 50-50 even split pick'em fight. I don't know why I said 100% and then said 50-50, but regardless, okay, they're both minus 110. It's crazy. I feel as though the odds makers are disrespecting Kara-France a little bit, dude, because since 2017, which is 6 years ago, Kara-France has only lost to Moreno and Brandon Royval. Okay, and we just saw Brandon Royval put on a fucking phenomenal performance. Okay, Brandon Moreno is the champion, right? He's literally only lost to like the best flyweights out there. And before the Moreno loss, he had won 8 in a row, right? Then got a bounce back victory, lost to Royval, and then won another 3 in a row before fighting Moreno for the interim title and losing that. So the guy is good at getting comeback victories. He never really has a skid where he loses multiple in a row, right? Like, even he lost to Moreno, got a win, and then lost to Brandon Royval. It's not like he lost 2 in a row. 8 in a row, 3 in a row. He's good at getting win streaks. Kara-France is fucking good, dude. He was having a lot of moments in that fight with Brandon Moreno before that perfectly placed liver kick. And to be honest, man, that would shut down 99% of the population, okay? Amir Albazi, though, he is very good. 16-1, okay? 6 KOs, 8 subs, 2 decisions, capable everywhere, can go the distance and get the job done, is comfortable on the ground to get a submission. He's fine on the feet. He is very fundamental, right? He's not very flashy. He's a very basic striker, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that his fundamentals are very fucking on point. They are very sound. So while he's not the most flashy striker, he is very good. He just has not fought the same level of competition, okay? Like him handing Askar Askarov his first loss after he had beaten Benavidez, Pantoja, and Tim Elliott is good, right? That was a good win for him because Askar Askarov was on his way up, fucking running shit. But I got to go with Kara-France due to the fucking level of competition he's faced, the level of guys that he has lost to, and the fact that even in those losses, he was having his moments, or at least in the Brandon Moreno one. So, I don't know. I feel like the odds makers are slightly disrespecting him. I feel as though Kara-France, a guy who we've seen fight for the interim title, a guy who we've seen only lose to the best guys in the division, should probably be a little bit of a favorite. So, whether you want to bet that or not is totally up to you. But I would take him at a pick'em number all day long. All right, dude. That is the end of this preview / picks for UFC Fight Night. Kara-France versus Amir Albazi. Enjoy the fights tomorrow night. I know I will, because that break was fucking tortured, dude. I had nothing to do last Saturday evening. I was not overly excited, all right? But now I am, and then we get a pay-per-view that is all right the week after. So, like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. I will see you at the next video. Bye-bye.